kind of going into what he said about this. He said, I can't guarantee you that the court won't rule that we don't have the authority, but at least we'll have the ability to. If we have to appeal to keep this going for a month at least, I hope longer.
So who cares if we break the law as long as we get what we want?
Exactly. A lot of Democrats are now having this misconception that landlords are all wearing a top hat, smoking a cigar, and walking around with a cane, and they don't understand that landlords are people too. Now, kind of using that as a jumping point, last year we had the CDC sign and authorize an eviction moratorium, which basically said that if you're not paying your rent or if there's some sort of other issue, your landlord can't throw you out of your apartment or house or wherever. Now, this was set to expire, and then they reissued it. President Biden reissued it after pushes from far left Democrats like AOC and Cori Bush. And the issue that we saw with this was the fact that it wasn't constitutional to start with. The executive branch did not have the power to authorize something like this on the federal level. Now, we're seeing a county in Ohio in particular fight back against this. It was the Franklin County Municipal Court, which is kind of more towards the Cincinnati area. They were saying that because they did not have the authority, they struck this down, and they said, if you're a landlord in our area, you can go ahead and you can evict these people. Now, to make matters even worse, we had President Joe Biden basically admitting that this was legally shady. I think we have a video or a tweet right now kind of going into what he said about this. He said, I can't guarantee you that the court won't rule that we don't have the authority, but at least we'll have the ability to. If we have to appeal to keep this going for a month at least, I hope longer.
So who cares if we break the law as long as we get what we want?
Exactly. The President of the United States is openly admitting to doing something legally questionable, but he doesn't seem to care about that right now. So I want to bring that to you guys. Do you think that the Supreme Court will strike this down?
Yeah, I think so. It's unfathomable to me how the executive branch itself, but the CDC in particular, is going to wade into financial and property rights issues just on the weight of their name and the fiat that goes with that. I don't think there's any way that will stand. If it does stand, it means that essentially private property, as we've noted in the U.S., is over, because you don't really own something if you can't control it, if you can't say what happens on it, if you can't say who uses it and who doesn't use it. You don't really own it in any real sense, though your name may be on a deed. Essentially, at that point, the state owns it, and what this will do is effectively nationalize at least part of the private real estate market in the United States, which is unbelievable. And by the way, I think this is actually the real problem behind the lack of employment out there right now. You know, a couple of $3,000 checks from Biden, you know, those aren't going to get you just that far in life. Life is more expensive than that. But what will help you a long way is if you've got a home, if you have a roof over your head, but you don't have to pay rent at all. You know, rent, mortgage payments, those are the most expensive parts of most of our budgets. If you don't have to pay that and there's no risk of getting kicked out when you don't, then, you know, you can go a long time on unemployment and a long time on food stamps and be perfectly fine. I think that's why Denny's down the street absolutely can't get people to work there. I think that's why when I go to Starbucks in the morning, sometimes they don't have the muffin I want because they don't have people in the warehouse to deliver them. So I think the Supreme Court will strike this down. I also think it's a massive threat to private property. And on top of that, it's probably what's behind the dearth of employment happening right now.